Good day and God bless you. Welcome to the Bible reading in chronological order. Just such a privilege to have you with us. We thank the Lord for each of you. Thank you for participating with us in the reading of the Word of the Lord. And we pray that it would be a blessing to you, that it would really speak to you, and that these overviews would give you a bit more insight into the Word of God. So today we're back in the book of Job, and we're going to be going through chapters 14, 15, and 16. So as we go through it, we just want to look through basically the common understanding and the core theme as we've come to know it thus far in the book of Job. And this is showing us that the human action which results in God's justice, if you are wise and good, then that results in success and reward. And if you are evil and foolish, then that results in destruction and punishment from the Lord. And this graph, where sometimes it might seem tedious that we're going through it all the time, but the reason we're going through it is because even though we have read through the book of Job so many times, even though we know that this is not always the case, yet in our hearts and in our minds, we still have this very mathematical understanding of who God is. We will place in the wise and good, and we have to get the success and reward out of it. And when something goes wrong in our lives, we're quick to look for the evil and the foolishness that we have done instead of looking at what God is doing in and through us. And this is the challenge of the book of Job, because we see that Job is an upright man. Job pleads his innocence to his friends in the chapters before. And we see that he is struggling to make sense of what is going on in his life. And so we see that Job has an inner turmoil. And so let's look at this graph now, and let's look at it in the light of what's happening. Here we see that wise and good should result in success and reward. But in Job's turmoil, wise and good is equaling punishment for some reason. And we can't understand that. Well, Job can't understand that. We are seeing into the heavenly realm. Job cannot see there. All Job can see is that I was wise, I was prudent, I was diligent in my work, I cared for my family, I prayed for my family, and this is resulting in punishment, and I cannot understand it. And then when his friends confront him and basically going as far as to say, Job, you're just a liar, Job then challenges them and says, you know what? Even the foolish and the evil people prosper sometimes. You don't understand what you're talking about. And really, I know, maybe there's something that I don't know that I have done wrong, but I know that I have dealt with integrity before the Lord, and this is what's happening in my life. And so now we can move on to chapter 14. And in chapter 14, Job just describes the brevity or the abruptness of man's life. He's almost going into the insignificance of this abrupt period that man is on the earth in terms of eternity. But then Job starts to talk about this amazing thing which he calls his change. Now this is very special, because what change is Job speaking about? Is he talking about a resurrection? Stranger still, is he talking about a rapture? There is something supernatural that Job is talking about a change that is going to happen to his body. And this is something that we really need to dig into. And without me giving too much away, but just look at the very supernatural thing that he is expecting to happen. And that's just a wonderful thing that he could see this even at that time. Then we get into chapter 15, and here Eliphaz again is quite upset with Job. He demands that Job stop trying to justify himself and try to make it so that he hasn't sinned, or try to prove that the justice of God is not the way that they think it is. He basically says that we can see the results of your actions. Don't try to tell us that your actions are holy and righteous and good before God. And then he just basically tells Job, you're not going to prosper. There's a reason for your suffering. We know that the reason is because either you are doing something that we don't know about, or you're basically lying, but you will not prosper because of this hidden sin. And so then we get to chapter 16, and in chapter 16 we see that Job rebukes his friends for their lack of mercy toward him. Job, in the chapters leading up to now, has told his friends that he doesn't know why these things are happening. He doesn't even know what's happening. And he really doesn't feel that he's done anything so wrong as to deserve the suffering that he is going through. And now he's just telling them that you don't have any compassion toward me. Why are you even here? For the first 7 days, everyone just sat quiet until Job opened his mouth. And since then, all they've done is bring accusations against him. And so then, Job describes them as miserable comforters and then tells them that he has done nothing to deserve this. He pleads his innocence before his friends. He is calling them to compassion. But something much deeper is going on as well. Now Job is starting to challenge that graph. Job is starting to look more at the spiritual than he is at the physical. All of this that is going on now is making Job realize that God is not a processing machine, but that God is alive, that God is there, that God is able. And we'll see this now, that his theology is starting to shift. And we're going to get into that. And up to chapter 32, we're going to see that the mind of Job is being changed toward this perceived reality that he had before. I mean, when we look at Job before then, he would even pray for his children in case his children sinned, so that the Lord would not hold anything against him. Now he is realizing that one-on-one relationship with the Lord, and that not everything goes according to plan, that you can't control every eventuality, that God is in control, and that God is doing something in order to show us something about himself. You'll see this as we go along, but so far we already see that the mind of Job is being challenged through this, and he's trying to challenge his friends. His friends are just lending deaf ears to his protests, but they are bringing the accusations, which is shifting Job's mind even further. This is where we're going to leave it for today, though. I pray that the Lord would bless you and keep you. May he make his face to shine upon you. The Lord lift up his countenance toward you and give you peace. God bless you as you enjoy the reading of the word today.
Chapter 14. Man that is born of a woman is of few days and full of trouble. He cometh forth like a flower, and is cut down. He fleeth also as a shadow, and continueth not. And dost thou open thine eyes upon such an one, and bringest me into judgment with thee? Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Turn from him, that he may rest, till he shall accomplish as an hireling his day. For there is hope of a tree, if it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and that the tender branch thereof will not cease. Though the root thereof wax old in the earth, and the stalk thereof die in the ground, yet through the scent of water it will bud, and bring forth boughs like a plant. But man dieth and wasteth away. Yea, man giveth up the ghost, and where is he? As the waters fail from the sea, and the flood decayeth and drieth up, so man lieth down and riseth not. Till the heavens be no more, they shall not awake, nor be raised out of their sleep. Oh, that thou wouldest hide me in the grave, that thou wouldest keep me secret until thy wrath be past, that thou wouldest appoint me a set time, and remember me. If a man die, shall he live again? All the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come. Thou shalt call, and I will answer thee. Thou wilt have a desire to the work of thine hands. For now thou numberest my steps. Dost thou not watch over my sin? My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and thou sewest up mine iniquity. And surely the mountain falling cometh to naught, and the rock is removed out of his place. The waters wear the stones. Thou washest away the things which grow out of the dust of the earth, and thou destroyest the hope of man. Thou prevailest forever against him, and he passeth. Thou changest his countenance, and sendest him away. His sons come to honour, and he knoweth it not. And they are brought low, but he perceiveth it not of them. But his flesh upon him shall have pain, and his soul within him shall mourn. Chapter 15. Then answered Eliphaz the Temanite, and said, Should a wise man utter vain knowledge, and fill his belly with the east wind? Should he reason with unprofitable talk, or with speeches wherewith he can do no good? Yea, thou castest off fear, and restrainest prayer before God. For thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity, and thou choosest the tongue of the crafty. Thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I. Yea, thine own lips testify against thee. Art thou the first man that was born, or wast thou made before the hills? Hast thou heard the secret of God, and dost thou restrain wisdom to thyself? What knowest thou that we know not? What understandest thou which is not in us? With us are both the grey-headed and very aged men, much elder than thy father. Are the consolations of God small with thee? Is there any secret thing with thee? Why doth thine heart carry thee away? And what do thy eyes wink at, that thou turnest thy spirit against God, and lettest such words go out of thy mouth? What is man, that he should be clean? And he which is born of a woman, that he should be righteous? Behold, he putteth no trust in his saints. Yea, the heavens are not clean in his sight. How much more abominable and filthy is man, which drinketh iniquity like water? I will show thee, hear me, and that which I have seen I will declare, which wise men have told from their fathers, and have not hid it, unto whom alone the earth was given, and no stranger passed among them. The wicked man travaileth with pain all his days, and the number of years is hidden to the oppressor. A dreadful sound is in his ears. In prosperity the destroyer shall come upon him. He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness, and he is waited for of the sword. He wandereth abroad for bread, saying, Where is it? He knoweth that the day of darkness is ready at his hand. Trouble and anguish shall make him afraid. They shall prevail against him as a king ready to the battle. For he stretcheth out his hand against God, and strengtheneth himself against the Almighty. He runneth upon him, even on his neck, upon the thick bosses of his bucklers, because he covereth his face with his fatness, and maketh collops of fat on his flanks. And he dwelleth in desolate cities, and in houses which no man inhabiteth, which are ready to become heaps. He shall not be rich, neither shall his substance continue, neither shall he prolong the perfection thereof upon the earth. He shall not depart out of darkness. The flame shall dry up his branches, and by the breath of his mouth shall he go away. Let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense. It shall be accomplished before his time, and his branch shall not be green. He shall shake off his unripe grape as the vine, and shall cast off his flower as the olive. For the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. They conceive mischief, and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. Chapter 16. Then Job answered and said, I have heard many such things. Miserable comforters are ye all. Shall vain words have an end? Or what emboldeneth thee that thou answerest? I also could speak as ye do. If your soul were in my soul's stead, I could heap up words against you, and shake mine head at you. But I would strengthen you with my mouth, and the moving of my lips should assuage your grief. Though I speak, my grief is not assuaged, and though I forbear, what am I eased? But now he hath made me weary. Thou hast made desolate all my company, and thou hast filled me with wrinkles, which is a witness against me, and my leanness rising up in me beareth witness to my face. He teareth me in his wrath, who hateth me. He gnasheth upon me with his teeth, mine enemy sharpeneth his eyes upon me. They have gaped upon me with their mouth. They have smitten me upon the cheek reproachfully. They have gathered themselves together against me. God hath delivered me to the ungodly, and turned me over into the hands of the wicked. I was at ease, but he hath broken me asunder. He hath also taken me by my neck, and shaken me to pieces, and set me up for his mark. His archers compass me round about. He cleaveth my reins asunder, and doth not spare. He poureth out my gall upon the ground. He breaketh me with breach upon breach. He runneth upon me like a giant. I have sewed sackcloth upon my skin, and defiled my horn in the dust. My face is foul with weeping, and on my eyelids is the shadow of death. Not for any injustice in mine hands. Also my prayer is pure. O earth, cover not thou my blood, and let my cry have no place. Also now, behold, My witness is in heaven, and my record is on high. My friends scorn me, but mine eye poureth out tears unto God. Oh, that one might plead for a man with God, as a man pleadeth for his neighbour. When a few years are come, then I shall go the way whence I shall not return.